All right, moving on. Compression, another really important tool. Just to show you some dynamics, trying to get off for now. Just to show you some dynamics of a microphone, a vocal mic. You see I'm talking normally. Then all of a sudden I'm talking really loud. And there's just dynamics there, you know, there's that low, you know, you're talking and then boom, I'm in your face, right? Now, say that's what you want, cool, that's what you get, you know. If that's not what you want, you'll be able to control that vocal a little bit more, then you can go ahead and click on your compressor. The compressor does have an auto setting, you know, it'll kind of do it for you. It's not always ideal, you know, because you can't adjust the gain setting on it, and just kind of just keeps things within that more or less range. We're actually going to go ahead and use all the parameters, right? Your ratio, your compression threshold, okay? Where you want it to start, you know, compressing from. Basically how a compressor works, and put the mic down for now. How a compressor works. Yeah, sure about some water. How a compressor works is, you give it a threshold, you say at -10, I want you to start bringing the signal down at this amount of volume, okay? At this ratio. So, ratios start at like 1:1. Okay, you have a 1:1 ratio. So for every 1 dB, you go above what my threshold. Okay, so if I set my threshold at -10 and I go up to -11, -9, right? It's not going to do anything. If I go up to -8, it's going to bring it down to -9. Okay, and successively, that's how it's going to work. 2:1 for every 2 dB you go up. For every 1 dB you go up, I'm going to bring you down 2 dB. Okay, and
threshold at 12.
Exactly. So for every 3 dB you go, for every 1 dB you go up, I'm going to bring you down 3 dB, a 3:1, 4:1, 5:1, etc., etc. So at 7:1, now we're bringing you down quite significantly. For every 1 dB you go up over the threshold, I'm bringing you down 7 dB. Okay, so that's pretty significant. That's starting to squash the signal quite a bit. Which sometimes you have to do. So now we'll actually go ahead and see what happens when you compress the signal. So now I have a signal here, which is pretty good. I like that signal. It sounds nice and clear. It's coming through. You know, I'm not clipping the mains output, right? I'm pretty much giving it a lot of volume actually on the mains here. So I want to keep it within that range, you know, within that 0 to, you know, I don't know, neg 5 or so. So I'm going to go on my compressor, I'm going to say, hey, I want to set you my compression to, let's just say, -12, -16, I want you to start compressing, all right? And start to bring that signal down a little bit. And I want to do it, let's say, at 7:1. So for every 1 dB you go above, you know, -16, I'm going to start bringing you down, you know, 7. But it's not really going to kick in until you really go up to, like, -10, technically, all right? So, and then you say, I want you to attack pretty quick. As soon as you go above that level, I want you to be attacked quickly, all right? And then I want you to release slowly. You know, I don't want you to release it really quick, because then you'll have, if your attack is actually higher than your release, you'll actually have this weird, like, pumping volume, like it's almost like, you know, like the volume happens. So you want to make sure that your attack is always lower than your release. So here, we'll see. So now before I had a pretty loud volume when I yelled, now it's starting to compress it so it's not as loud. Like, it's almost like, hey, my signal's almost the same level. It's still giving me a little bit more volume, but it's still at the same level. And then you'll see the gain reduction start kicking in. Hey, 1, 2. Now, if I start bringing up the my compression threshold, say I'll start bringing it down. Like, I want it to be really compressed. I want you like, hey, 1, 2, 3, hey, 1, 2, 3. Now see what happens? Now it's all of a sudden like I really lost volume now. See, now all of a sudden I start kicking back in, the volume starts kicking back in. As soon as I start talking softer, actually the volume sounds louder. And now as soon as I start talking louder, oh my God, I have no volume again.
Right? So that's not gonna work for me. That sounds really squashed. So as I'm bringing the ratio, my threshold up, you'll see that I start getting more volume again. So now I can adjust my ratio a little bit. You know, I kind of want the ratio to be higher, but I don't want my compression threshold to be that low. So hey, 1, 2. Now it's more of a smoother transition. Like you hear my voice here, and then you hear my voice here, and it still sounds like it's in the same level. It's not, you know, going crazy. See? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now my levels are boom. It's always there. It works great for singers too who don't sing really loud, so you can give them plenty of gain without worrying about all of a sudden if they did want to scream into the microphone, like, oh, you know, blows you away. And that's how your compression works. Now compression does have what's called a curve, all right? If you want a soft curve, basically it'll make that adjustment smoother, and you can turn it on if you want. Will you really notice a huge difference? Probably not that much. Maybe in the studio you will notice a whole lot more. Live, you do notice a little bit depending on what kind of system you're using, etc. But usually I just keep the compression on, adjust that. Now say...
Some more?
Yeah.
Say you did have a singer that sings like super... Oh my God, Jesus, I love you. And I sing really soft and far away from the mic. Now, you've given them a good volume. You've given them good volume, but it's not exactly enough. And if you give them more volume on the input side, it's going to start clipping the preamp. It's going to start clipping. There's a little preamp inside here, so start clipping it, right? Which is not good. It can cause damage to the preamp, and it can also just sound like garbage in the system because it starts distorting if they start getting really loud. So you don't want to adjust your gain. You want to adjust your input gain. You want to adjust the output, which you can do on the compressor. You can actually add gain to the compressor. So say I sing really soft, and this is as high as I go. Now I can give you more volume without turning up the actual gain. So what you can do is on your output side, which is where the compressor comes in, you can give them more gain there. So input side, la 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 la, output side, la la la. You see I have less on my output. So now I'll go ahead, I hit select solo, so I can see what I'm doing here on my output with that particular channel. And now I go ahead and give it a little gain. Hey Jesus, I love you so much. Oh Jesus, I love you so much. See, now I actually have a lot more volume on my output side, all right? You gotta be careful with that because that can really affect feedback and stuff. So use it at your discretion. All right, so we're done there with the compressor. We have our compressor set up, whoopie-doo, sounds good. Let's take it off now. And now we can actually do an A and B, okay? You can see what it sounds like with and without. It's important sometimes to do that in a professional setting, not so much here. So, hey, 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2.